Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rex here with Carpentry Plus. And we are continuing to work through the details of this large built-in project. Thought we'd take a minute and show you our process for edge banding. We don't do a lot of edge banding, but we do have a few shelves that we want to put an edge on. So we've just simply got an iron and some iron on edge banding, and we'll just show you that process real quick, and then once we're done, we'll clean those edges up. All right, so applying the edge banding is a pretty straightforward process. We're going to take our iron on high heat, and iron that on, press it on, make about 3 or 4 slow passes here, making sure to get that glue good and hot, good and melted. All right, now here's an important detail. I like to take a little block and press that edge banding on after I've ironed it. So once you remove the heat, everything starts to cool. That top surface of the edge banding is going to cool faster than the bottom side where the glue is, because it's exposed to the air. And that can cause the edge banding to curl. And if it curls sooner than the glue sets, then your edge banding starts peeling off immediately. Okay, so I've tried to demonstrate here what happens if you don't press that edge banding down good enough. You can see some of that's curled up. I made two passes with the iron and then didn't press it down with the block at all, and some of that's wanting to peel up. So it's a pretty easy fix, as we can just reheat. Back to our standard procedure. Don't mean to be too repetitive here, but again, we'll just make 3 or 4 passes with the iron. Once we feel like we've got it heated up good enough, we'll make a handful of passes with the block, pressing that edge banding down. All right, so next up, we've got to trim up this edge banding. So you can see here, the edge banding is oversized, so it's almost always going to be wider than your material, or at least you want it to be. That way you can trim it up. And then we cut our pieces a little bit long to start with. So on the length, that's easy enough. We'll just trim that up with a utility knife. And then for the sides, they make some different cutters, edge banding cutters. I feel like they work pretty well with melamine and different things, but I don't really care for those when it comes to wood edge banding, because sometimes it can grab that wood grain depending on how it's running, and you can get some tear out. So we'll just trim up this end here real quick. And then we'll take you over to the router to clean up these edges. All right, so to trim up our edges, we're going to do that at the router. So we really want to accomplish 2 things here. One, we want to flush cut these edges. That's our first priority. But even after we do that, then we're going to have a real sharp edge that we're going to want to ease over also. So we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. I've got a setup here at the router. Let me zoom in for you. So that's an 1/8 inch roundover bit in the router. I've got a fence extension clamped onto the fence to raise us up over that router bit and to give us some support here for our tall piece. And basically we're going to run that piece through there, and we're going to flush cut our edge banding and ease that edge a little bit at the same time. So it's an 1/8 inch roundover. We're not using the full 1/8 inch the way I've got the depth and height of the bit set. So we're just basically taking off that corner, so it should cut it flush and ease the edge all at the same time. You can, of course, do this in 2 separate steps if you prefer. You can trim the edge flush with a straight cutting, flush cutting bit, and then do a roundover. It's just this little thing I found that kind of saves time and accomplishes two things at the same time. Alright, so that's a nice clean result there. We got a flush cut, we got them slightly eased. We'll hit that with some 180 sandpaper and call it good. Alright, so that was our process for edge banding. Again, we don't do a ton of it, but we do a little bit from time to time. So hopefully there's some tips and tricks in there that you found useful. Hopefully you're subscribing. If you're not subscribing, be sure to do that. And stay tuned for our next video. Alright, thank you.